Hey, welcome back to the One Verse Devotional podcast. Thanks for joining me here today. I'm glad that you're with me as we just dive into God's Word to look at one verse that I believe that if we do this every day, even looking at just one verse, spending 5, 6, 7 minutes in God's Word, that over time it will help us grow deeper in our faith. I believe that with all my heart, that it doesn't have to be just this time where we sit down and I'm going to read my Bible for an hour. Sure, that's great. But if you only do that once a month or once every few months, you're not going to experience a lot of growth, right? But if we can spend a consistent few minutes every day in God's Word and then even follow that up with prayer on your own, I believe that over time you will see significant growth in your spiritual life. And so that's why we're here. That's why we do the One Verse Devotional podcast and on YouTube. And so I'm glad that you're with me here today. Our one verse today is excellent. There's no other way to say it. It's an excellent verse. It comes out of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58, and it says, "Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." It says, "Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters." He's wrapping up his letter to the Corinthians. Paul is writing here. It's his first letter, 1 Corinthians, his first letter to the Corinthian church. And it says, therefore, because it's getting towards the end of the letter. This is the very last verse of chapter 15, and chapter 16 is the last chapter of 1 Corinthians. And so he's kind of wrapping up his thoughts. He's kind of bringing everything together that he's been talking about for the previous 15 chapters and saying, okay, therefore, because of everything that I've said up to this point, stand firm. Stand firm. That's what all of this has been leading to, that you can stand firm in your knowledge and in your relationship with Jesus. It says, let nothing move you. Paul is writing this letter to teach us what it truly means to follow Jesus. And now he says, because of that, you can stand firm and let nothing move you. It says, always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor for the Lord is not in vain. It's not always easy to serve. It's not always easy to love. It's not always easy to live your life according to the principles that Jesus has laid out for us. It's not easy. The Christian life is not easy. It's amazing. It's incredible. I wouldn't want to live any other life. But it's surely not easy. But what he tells us is this. Before I get to that, actually, I'm going to add this. This is written from Paul, a guy who went through a lot. He was living a life that he thought was pleasing to God. Comes to find out, he was totally going against what God was doing in the world. And then once he became a Christian, is how he would say it today, once he became a follower of Jesus, he began to plant churches and spread the gospel message. Well, not everyone wanted him to do that. It wasn't very popular. And so here's a guy who had been shipwrecked, who had been beaten, who had been left for dead. If anyone knew that the Christian life was incredible, but yet not easy, it would be Paul. And yet he's the one here who says, know this, that anything you do for the Lord, that your labor for the Lord is not in vain. Whatever you do, it might not be easy to serve others. It might not be easy to love others. It might not be easy to give your time and give your energy and even your resources towards the kingdom of heaven. But everything that you do is worth something. It's not in vain. It's not worthless. You're not just spinning your wheels. God knows the work that you're doing to spread his message across this planet, to spread his love and his light throughout this world. He knows what you're doing to live your life as a light bearer, bearing the light and the love of Jesus. And so I want to encourage you as well, just as Paul did, that he says, stand firm, let nothing move you, that you would grow closer and deeper in your relationship with God, and then that you would live out these principles that God has given us, that Jesus has given us and taught us, and then even exemplified in his own life. And that when you do that, no matter how difficult it is, you might feel tired, you might feel worn down, you might feel a little burnout. You do need to take care of yourself. You need some self-care, right? That's a kind of a different conversation, but you do need to take care of yourself. But I want to tell you, anything that you do for the Lord is not in vain. I hope that encourages you today. Have a great day. Peace.